our village, a very small village, maybe 10 families only. We survived from like hunting and fishing. So I was born in this place. Yes, this is first. Yes, thank you. This. So I want to share with you a little bit before we talk to Dr. Sergio. Dr. Sergio is a doctor, a friend, and a pastor from Brazil, and he has an organization. He's the director of an organization called Doctors with a Mission. And he will share a little bit more about his project and the needs in this north of Brazil. But before I want to introduce our area and a little bit about my life, I got this verse because this is the verse that talks about me. God chose the foolish things of this world to put the wise to shame, and he chose the weak things of this world to put the powerful to shame. And I say that because sometimes we think God only can use the best of the best people, and because this is the way the society see, right? They are looking for the best of the best, right? But God it's amazing because if you read the Bible, he chooses sometimes the ones that everybody look and says, this person here doesn't look like to have so much thing to offer to the world, right? And sometimes we see ourselves in this way. Sometimes we have this idea that I don't have a lot of things to offer to the world. A lot of competition outside. I am not one of the best. So I think I will not find my way. I have to accept that reality that I am not good enough to do something good. And it's not true, actually. It's not true. And I know God can take someone that is very foolish things, foolish people, and make wise people from these foolish people. And then God can take the weak and make the weak strong to accomplish his goal for the life of people and to serve people and to love people. And that is my life. I am the foolish that God chose. I am the weak that God chose. From one place, I was talking with my friend that I just met right now from Mozambique, and I was telling him that, and my other friends from Rwanda and no, Uganda and Liberia. And I was saying that when I say that I am from Amazon rainforest, people normally ask, wow, those people there, they wear clothes? I say, yes, they wear clothes. So there's a lot of wild animals around. So yes, my wife, for example, is one of them. Very wild. No. Because people have this mindset, right? They have these ideas about Amazon rainforest because they watch some movies, especially Anaconda. So they think there is one anaconda waiting for them when they go to Amazon rainforest. Not true. It's very, very, very difficult to find a very big snake in Amazon. If you find one, you are dead. So this is my story. This is my family. I am this one over here. I had hair before, okay? So now it's gone. But I had before. You see, Janelle? Yes. So this is my father, my mother, my oldest brother, my brother. That brother is in Africa right now, in Guinea-Bissau, serving as a teacher. And this is my sister. She has a store, clothes store. And I was living my life in Amazon, my normal life. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe God had something special for my life until I became a Christian. And it's incredible how Christ and how the Bible and how Christianity show you who you are and show you how important and how special you are in God's plan. So when you start to think about how God have made you and how God can choose you to do things, you became like, okay, so maybe it's possible, right? So maybe it's possible for some jungle boy go to do something important in this world. So my first call was to be a missionary. So that picture there is me and my oldest brother over there. That behind us, it's a boat. So I took 24 hours by boat from my island to the next closest city, because my state is practically one island. And then from there, 72 hours by bus to the mission school. I am from a poor family, from a poor area, from a poor church. My church is a very small church. Now the church is bigger than, but when I left to the missions 23 years ago, my church didn't have money to send, so they gave me some clothes and said, this is the only thing we can give you, Leo, just go. And I went. I was afraid because I never left my island before. I was always there, living there. And now I have to go somewhere I never went before, and then to meet new people. I didn't have friends, I didn't have family, and then you have to start everything from zero, and believing that God has something to you. From people that lives in this area, they believe the only life they have is this life. Eat some fish, go to hunt, have 15 kids, and die. That's the life. And so the dream of a jungle boy is to have a small house, a canoe, a wife, 15 children, and that, and then grow old and then die. But then I start to see life differently. And this now is my family, my wife, my kids. One of my dreams was to have a family. Can we have a dream to have a family? Yes, we can. And I thought, oh, nobody will love me. I'm so bad. I'm so terrible. I'm a jungle boy. Who will love me? Right? You have this idea that nobody loves me, and love is fake. Love is a lie. It's not true. Love exists. First, because God is love. So the first love you have, the first love of your life is God. But then God gives you more people to love and more people to relate. And then God gave me my wife. Just look, what a blessing, right? And then I have these 3 amazing kids. My wife right now is in Israel. Israel is sharing the gospel in Israel. My oldest daughter, Emily, is in Cambodia with the brother Henry, like sharing the gospel with kids in Cambodia. And my 2 youngest ones, they are with my another Chinese pastor friend, James, hang out with their kids. So you see, we have been living in China for 4 years. In the beginning, I couldn't speak. Even my Portuguese was very bad, right? Very bad, because I was from the jungle. So my Portuguese is what the Portuguese to survive in the jungle. So I don't need to speak with the snake, right? So little Portuguese. Then we moved to the city, and then my life started to get crazy. I went to school for the first time, and people in my school, they, woo! Because they thought I was an Indian guy. I said, what is this? And now I am a teacher. I am a teacher. I have 2 graduations in education. And I went to the US to study English. When I went to the US in 2016, I didn't have any English. 0. Maybe good morning. What's your name? It's like my Chinese now. 你好,你好吗?我很好,谢谢你呢。你叫什么名字？几个苹果多少钱？ So, you see, the jungle boy can speak some Chinese. From the jungle to the nations. So when I left my state, when I left my Amazon rainforest, God sent me back to Amazon many, many times. And in the beginning, when he said, you go back to Amazon, Leo, I said, no, I left Amazon already. I don't want to go back there. You know, it's like you go out from the prison. And now he wants to go back to the prison again. No, if I go there, you die there. And then God said, no, now you have another mind, you have another heart, you have another vision. Now I want you to go there to wake up. I want you to go there to tell your people that it's possible to dream. It's possible to plan. It's possible to conquer things. It's possible to go out. It's possible to survive. For then, one person that go out from Amazon and can do something, success in something, it's extraordinary. It's like go to the moon. And then God sent me back to Amazon to train people, to prepare youth, especially to go to the nations. And I went back to Amazon and I worked there for 8 years, training, going to the villages, going to the rivers, going to the mountains, go to the tribes in the Amazon, going to the border with French Guiana and Suriname and Republic of Guyana, and then going to Venezuela, going to Colombia, going to Paraguay, going to Argentina to share with people there, especially from poor areas, that it's possible to go. It's possible to be a doctor, right? It's possible to dream. And please, during my journey, many people laughed at me in the beginning. Many people said, yeah, you never go out of this life. When I said, I want to go out, I want to study, I want to grow, I want to accomplish goals, I want to learn new things, they laugh at me. You don't have money even to take a bus. How do you think you go out? So don't be this kind of voice to other people. Don't be the ones that will say, you want to be a doctor? I think that's not for you. No, be the one say, yeah, go, do it. If someone close to you say, I'm thinking about to be an astronaut. Amazing, perfect, go for it. Because sometimes we think because I am not able or because was very difficult for me, I say to others, don't come. When people ask me, Leo, what do you think about China? I say, it's amazing. Do you think I can go there and try something? Please come. Stay in my house for some days. Eat some Brazilian food. Wash your clothes. Take showers. And find us something to do. I don't know. Some people say that is very difficult. Yes, life is difficult. Life is a challenge. But we have to fight. So yeah, if you have the desire to come, just come. But how about everything goes wrong? Go back. Start again. Try again. Right? Try again. When I went to US, people said, you will never learn English. You are too old and you are from a poor area. I said, okay, let's try. And I went. I remember in the beginning, some American brothers, they laughed at me because I couldn't speak with them. I went to buy things in Burger King and I couldn't ask for a hamburger. And I remember people because they couldn't speak with them. But in 1.5 years later, I was there. Oh, please, can I have this Big Mac combo? What? The Jungle Boy is speaking. Wow. So please be these people. So this is Brazil. Woo, beautiful country. And the capital of Brazil is Brasilia. I am from that island over there between Amapá and Pará, that very portion of it's an island called Marajó. So I was born there, but when I was 5 years old, my family moved to Amapá when I grew up. I consider myself more Amapaense. Okay. So I was born there in the narrow of Brevis. And this is how we dress there. No, it's not true. This is an Indian tribe. This is an Indian tribe. Because people think we dress like that. But that is a tribe. That is an Indian tribe. So to see people like this, you have to go inside of the Indian tribe, and then we will see them like this. Right? We wear normal clothes, normal clothes, like your clothes. So when the team goes to Brazil, I want to take the team to the tribes. I want to take the team to these places. Yes, to meet these people. This is the YMP tribe. It's a one tribe. Brazil have more than 297 tribes, different tribes. They speak different languages. No Portuguese. And then this is my city. Then we saw the pictures. This is the way normally people live in poor areas. They live like in these houses made by wood and close to the rivers or close to some waterland. In a very different, these houses are pretty good considered to most of people. These houses here are beautiful consider how people live there, but it still be a very difficult situation. And because they don't have good water to drink, good food to eat, they take shower in these rivers, normally polluted rivers, so they get a lot of disease. And Macapá, in special north of Brazil, is terrible in some kind of disease. This is our transportation. So for those who will go to Brazil, prepare to go in some of this. Okay, so if you have some problems with boats, you can start to working in your balance. You can do some what is the thing? Tai Chi. Yeah, you can start to do some Tai Chi to prepare yourself. Normally the villages are like this, like very all around is Amazon rainforest, and then some houses, and then some people. Some villages 1,000 people, some villages 500 people, some villages 2,000 people. You have many thousands of villages like this. Normally, this is the house people live. Normally, this is the size of a family there. So this is the family that lives in this house. Normally 8, 9, 10 people living in a very small house made by wood. No rooms, only one big room, and everybody sleeps together. Things like this. So this is all Amazon rainforest, and inside of Amazon rainforest, we have some city. This is Breves. This is the place where I was born, but not in the city. I was born inside of the river. So I myself, I call myself a walking miracle. Why? Because I died. When I was this is my village. So when I was very young, I got pneumonia. This is the hospital there. Look, we have in some places have some boats. They work as a hospital, mobile hospital. So they go like island by island, stopping, and then people go there to see the doctors, and then they leave, and they have no hospital around to go. So any emergency, you die. You just die. If you need a doctor, if you need a hospital, you die. Because the doctors and the hospitals, they come just time by time. Normally in a village, they have only a nurse to take care of the whole village. They don't have doctors. Sometimes the doctors go there once a month, once every 2 months to see people. So because of this, I got this terrible disease. And then my mom, from Amazon, many people, they try to treat people with this house medicines, right? House-made medicine, homemade. But many times doesn't work because you need someone that really knows what to do. So my mom tried to treat me with all this kind of forest stuff, didn't work. Then I died. And that was my mother's prayer when I died. She said, God, I know that I left you because my mom was a Christian before, but because of like, she came out like far from God, her relationship with God finished. So she started to work, live by herself without serving or following God. So she prayed, Lord, I know that I left you, that I haven't followed you, and I should have. But I ask that you don't take my son. That was me. I'm making a pact, a covenant with you. If you bring my son back to life, I will turn back to you and teach him to love you and to serve you. And one day he will preach your words. But please, Lord, restore the life of my son. So I was a baby. I was just 3 years old, and she prayed this prayer. And God brought me back to life. I was dead in my father's arm. And my father was crying, saying, my son is dead. My son is dead. I lost my son. But then after she prayed, I came back to life. And now I'm here preaching the word of God. Not just here. I went to Africa. I went to South America. I went to back to Amazon to preach there. And I have a book about this. I can send you the book. Some people here already have the book. But if you don't have my book, I can send you PDF, and you can read for free. Because not my miracle, it's God's miracle. So I can't sell God's miracle, right? When I have the physical book, I ask for the price of the book. But for the price of the miracle, it's not my miracle, it's God's miracle, right? So I can't sell miracles. It's God's miracle. So David Brenner, a missionary from the Indian tribes in America, he said, nothing seemed too hard for God to perform, nothing too great for me to hope for him, from him. So I'm here today in front of you because I believe that God wants to move powerfully to the Amazon rainforest. We still have too many needs there, so many needs there. We still have 60,000 villages without the gospel, without hope, without help. We have poor areas there that even the government can't go and reach that places. So I'm here to challenge you to go there. And for that, I want to invite my brother and my friend, brother, is this one? Yeah. My brother Sérgio Medeiros. Dr. Sérgio Medeiros, are you there? Você está aí, meu amigo?
Olá.
Hello.
Me ouve bem?
Oi.
Me ouve bem?
Estou ouvindo. Can you hear him?
This is him, right?
Yeah. Pode falar, Sérgio.
Me ouve bem, professor Leonei?
Eu posso ouvir bem. I can hear him. Can you hear him? Okay. But in Portuguese, but they can hear some Portuguese for you, Sérgio. Eles podem ouvir português de ti, Sérgio. Pode falar.
Ok. Estou muito feliz em poder participar.
I'm very, very happy to participate of this meeting.
Meu nome é Sérgio.
My name is Sergio.
Sou casado com a Lindsay.
I am married with Lindsay.
Estou falando de Curitiba, no Paraná.
I am speaking from Curitiba, Paraná, south of Brazil.
Região sul do Brasil.
Yes.
E fiquei muito feliz por receber o convite em participar desta conferência.
I'm very happy to be invited to be part of this conference.
Eu sou missionário.
I'm a missionary.
Me preparei para ser um médico missionário.
I prepare myself to be a missionary, doctor missionary.
Para então ir servir como missionário médico no norte da África.
So I want to go and serve as a missionary and doctor in the north of Africa.
Especificamente na Tunísia.
Specifically in Tunisia.
E nós já estamos há quase 28 anos
So we are almost in like 28 years in preparing for that.
nos preparando para ir para essa nação.
So we are in 28 years preparing to go to this nation.
Eu já estive lá 2 vezes, na
I have
Tunísia.
been there twice.
Já visitamos a região de norte a sul.
We have visited all the like from north to south of Tunisia.
E pretendemos, já daqui 1 ano e meio, já irmos em definitivo para implantarmos ali uma plantação de igreja e abrir ali um negócio para que possamos nos instalar ali e servir como missionário naquela nação.
So from now on, from like 1.5 years from now, we are moving definitely to Tunisia to start planting churches and to start a business, and then we can bless that country.
Mas enquanto isso, que não fomos, estamos aqui no Brasil, aqui sirvo como pastor na igreja local.
So while you are here in Brazil, I'm serving here as a pastor in the local church.
Estou servindo como um dos diretores do departamento de missões da nossa convenção estadual aqui do Paraná.
I am part of the leadership in our mission convention in the south of Brazil, specifically the state of Paraná.
E enquanto isso não aconteceu a nossa ida para a Tunísia, é que nasce esse projeto chamado OGC Médicos com uma Missão.
So while you were in Brazil waiting for the time to go to Tunisia, God put in our heart this project called Doctors with a Mission.
Porque quando nós estávamos nos preparando, eu e a Lindsay, para ir para a Tunísia,
When we were preparing to go to Tunisia, me and my wife,
houve o advento da Primavera Árabe.
so we have this Arabic movement in this Middle East area.
A guerra da Líbia com o levante do Estado Islâmico.
So the war of Libya with the ISIS.
Nesse intervalo, a Convenção do Amapá e eu e minha esposa tomamos a decisão de ir para a Itália para abrirmos ali uma base missionária e tirarmos a cidadania dela, para favorecer a nossa entrada na Tunísia.
So while we were waiting for this door open in Brazil, my church in Brazil and we decided to go to Italy to get the citizenship in Italy and then be easier to go to Tunisia.
Mas o nosso objetivo mesmo era estar na Tunísia, mas como havia uma situação de insegurança, não foi viável estarmos na Tunísia.
So our first goal was to go straight to Tunisia, but because of the situation there, then we decided to go to Italy first.
Então, nesse período,
Okay, so in this time,
nós tivemos a ideia, juntamente com a Convenção do Amapá,
so we have this idea with the convention of churches in Amapá.
Pastor Luci Francis e toda a sua diretoria.
Yes, the pastor president of the church there in Amapá and his directory.
Criamos em 2016.
So in 2016, we created
a OGC Médicos com uma Missão.
The movement, the organization called OGC, that is like Doctors with a Mission.
Que tem como objetivo
So this organization has as objective
de, em 2 décadas,
so the goal is in two decades, like 20 years,
formarmos 500 missionários médicos
so the goal is to to get 500 doctors, missionaries,
para enviarmos aos países da janela 10 e 40.
and then they can send these 500 doctors, missionaries to the 1040 window.
Como missionários plantadores de igreja em meio aos povos não alcançados.
So as missionaries to plant churches among the unreached people.
Hoje temos uma base em Ciudad del Este, no Paraguai.
So now we have a base in Ciudad del Este, in Paraguay, South America.
Onde temos 16 jovens já em processo de formação.
So there we have 16 young people in finishing their medical course.
Temos uma base em Moçambique.
We have a base in Mozambique.
Com uma missionária que está ali fazendo o curso de medicina.
So we have a missionary young woman doing her medical studies there.
Também tínhamos uma base em Vladivostok, na Rússia.
So we also had a base in Russia.
Com o advento da guerra, com a Ucrânia,
with the Ukraine,
tivemos que movimentar os jovens que estavam lá para retornar ao Brasil.
So they have to remove the young people they were there, like the youth they were studying there, back to Brazil.
Ali é uma porta de entrada para a Coreia do Norte.
So there's like a door to go to NC.
60 quilômetros de Vladivostok, você já está na fronteira da Coreia do Norte.
Quantos quilômetros?
60 quilômetros.
60 kilometers, you are like crossing to NC.
Em Vladivostok tem uma comunidade muito grande de coreanos, norte-coreanos, estudando lá.
And this city, Vladivostok, they have a big community of Korean people studying there.
Então ali é uma grande porta, tem uma estratégia muito grande para uma base missionária, para nós formarmos missionários médicos para adentrar ao país mais fechado do mundo, que é o Coreia do Norte.
So there is a strategic point to establish a base and then to train people to reach out the Korean.
Estávamos lá com 10 pessoas.
So 10 people were there in this base.
Mas infelizmente,
but unfortunately,
pelo motivo da guerra, tivemos que retirar todos.
Because of the war, they need to remove them from there.
Mas cremos
but we believe
que vamos ainda retornar
that we will return.
E nascerá ali um grande projeto para alcançarmos a Coreia do Norte.
So there will be a great project there, great base there to reach out the Korean.
Porque todos os jovens que vão para aquela região, para Vladivostok, já dominam o inglês e também já sabem falar um pouco do russo. Isso facilita a entrada na Coreia do Norte, porque quando estudam ali, têm a oportunidade de fazerem estágio ali na Coreia do Norte e ter contato com aquele povo.
So most of the young people that go there, they dominate the English already and Russian. So then it's very easy for them while they are studying medical studies, they go to do their internship among the Korean people.
Então eu faço uma pergunta.
So I ask you a question.
Será se nós temos possibilidade de alcançarmos em 2 décadas 500 missionários médicos?
Do you think it's possible to get in 20 years 500 missionary doctors?
Pode avançar os slides aí, Leon. Eu já falei aqui da base, das nossas bases, dos nossos desafios. Nós estamos mobilizando a igreja brasileira.
So we are mobilizing the Brazilian church
para que nessas 2 décadas nós possamos alcançar os nossos objetivos.
so then in 20 years we can reach out our goals.
Alcançar os 500 missionários médicos.
So to have in 20 years 500 doctors to do
É
missions.
grande desafio.
I know it's a big challenge.
500 missionários médicos.
500 missionaries.
São
Missionaries.
62 países da janela 10 e 40.
We have 62 countries in the window, the 1040 window.
Se nós conseguirmos colocar pelo menos um missionário médico dentro de cada país da janela 10 e 40, nós vamos
So
estar
if you
contribuindo muito para a multiplicação do evangelho em todas estas nações.
So if you can put one person inside of each one of these countries, it will be a great thing.
Então isso é um pouco da nossa história e do nosso
So this is a
projeto.
little bit about our story, our journey,
pelo qual queremos sermos parceiros da missão de Deus.
so then we want to be partners of God's mission.
Para que possamos, através de nossas profissões,
So we can use our careers as doctors
alcançarmos o mundo,
so we can reach the world,
levando o evangelho inteiro
taking the whole gospel
ao mundo inteiro.
to the whole world.
Porque sabemos que a medicina
Because we know the medicine,
é uma porta,
the medical studies, it's a great door.
é uma chave
It's a key
que abre essas portas
that open those doors
que estão fechadas.
that are closed.
O mundo precisa de médicos,
So the world needs doctors,
mas muito mais ainda do evangelho de nosso Senhor e Salvador Jesus Cristo.
but the world needs more Jesus than doctors.
E nós, como ferramentas,
So we are like tools in God's hands.
podemos utilizar o nosso chamado funcional através da nossa habilidade funcional, que é a nossa
So we can use
profissão,
our careers
para alcançar os perdidos.
to reach out the lost.
Então, base na Rússia,
So we
escritório
have
no
base in
Paraguai,
Russia,
base no Paraguai,
we
base na
have base in
África,
Brazil, Paraguay, and Africa, Mozambique.
e quem sabe um dia podemos ter também uma base aí em China,
And who knows, we can have a base there in China
para formarmos missionários médicos e espalharmos nesta nação.
so we can prepare doctors to spread around this country.
Aí nós podemos passar para os outros slides, onde vocês podem nos ajudar nesse movimento de oração.
So we can pray for us,
Que nós sejamos um reflexo do movimento morável,
so pray that we can be a reflect of the Moravian movement.
e que nós possamos não só orar 100 anos, mas que nós possamos orar 200, 300, 400, 1000 anos, até que o evangelho seja pregado em todas as nações.
So we can pray not just for 100 years, but for 200, 300, 1,000, until the gospel go for the whole world.
Então nos ajudem
So
nesse
please
relógio de
pray for
oração,
us, help us,
para que possamos estar nesse movimento de alcançar as nações da terra. Pode passar.
so then we can continue the movement to reach out the nations.
Pode passar o slide. Esse sou eu.
This is me.
Esse é o Lucas.
This is like
Ele vai para a faixa de Gaza, esse jovem.
this one is going to Gaza.
Seu Gisiels
Jesus
também vai para o Norte África,
also is
Argélia.
going to North Africa for Algeria.
Esse é o Rian.
So Rian.
Esse é o Vitor, vai para a Etiópia.
Victor is going to Ethiopia.
Esse é o Eliseu,
Eliseu
Guiné-Bissau.
is going to Guiné-Bissau.
Essa é a Gabriela, ela é de nacionalidade peruana e vai para a China.
Gabriela is from Peru and then is coming to China. Welcome.
Essa é a Soiane,
Soyani
também vai para o continente asiático.
also is coming to the Asian continent.
Essa é a Larissa,
Arissa,
ela vai para Turquia.
she is going to Turkey. Tamires
Tamires vai para a Ásia também.
also coming to Asia.
Muita gente para a Ásia, né?
Many people coming to Asia. Many doctors. Uhul. Ana Beatriz,
Ana Beatriz,
Juliana,
a Juliana também, continente asiático,
for Asia.
de Minas Gerais, continente
Marcele.
africano, Marcele,
África. Eluane,
a Luane está em definição se vai para a Ásia ou para a África.
thinking about Asia or Africa.
Então temos que orar por ela, né, para ela se definir logo.
So we have to pray for her so she can find a place to go. Esther,
Esté, continente
also
africano.
Africa. And these are from the Russian base.
Esses eram os missionários que estavam lá na cidade de Vladivostok.
So all of them were in Russia before the war, but they have to be removed to Brazil. Mozambique's base. We have a Mozambican here. Tem um moçambicano aqui com a gente.
A Tayane é a nossa missionária que está lá, né?
A Tayane is a missionary that is there. Tayane.
Muito obrigado. Agora eu quero falar um pouco a respeito das
you.
necessidades.
So to finish, I want to talk a little bit about the needs in Pará e Amapá.
O Amapá é uma ilha, como já foi falado.
So the Amapá is an island, as you heard.
É um arquipélago.
It's like part of a group of islands.
Onde está rodeado de ilhas.
So we have not just a big island, but have many small islands around.
E as necessidades de saúde são extremas.
So the needs, the doctor needs, the health needs are big.
E eu, ao averiguar e pensar e estudar um pouco sobre o sistema de saúde da região,
So I was checking and researching about the health needs in this area.
pude observar que uma das grandes necessidades que há na região
So I could see that one of the great needs in this area
é um controle de natalidade.
is the birth control, actually.
Porque lá na região, como não tem muitos entretenimento na região, você vai estar geralmente em meio às águas.
So there, because you don't have a lot of things to do, you have babies, right?
Então, as pessoas geralmente têm muitos filhos.
So normally they have a lot of kids. Maybe they don't have TVs, né?
5, 10, 15.
So sometimes like 10, 15.
Então, eu acredito que se nós fizermos um controle de natalidade com um programa sistematizado de vasectomia, para que nós possamos, de alguma forma, auxiliar nesse controle. Então, é uma
So
das...
one of the needs are like the birth control. So it's like not just teach about this, but also do some surgeries.
Então, seria de grande importância uma campanha, juntamente com o serviço de saúde local, mapear e averiguar quantos procedimentos desses nós podemos estar fazendo na região. Como é uma cirurgia ambulatorial, há a possibilidade de se fazer em pouco tempo, aproximadamente aí umas 500 vasectomia em uma semana, né? Dependendo da equipe médica que possa se dirigir à região.
Eles estão falando aqui que o tempo já cortou, então vamos só falar das necessidades e encerrar.
Ok.
So one of the needs is this, is to together with the health system, the local health system, to work with education, with instructions about this birth control, and also realize some surgeries. And depending on who will go there, we can do together with the health team from Brazil.
Também uma grande necessidade que há na região é o índice de cataratas e
So
que um serviço de oftalmologia seria muito importante para a região.
So the second need in Brazil is like ophthalmologists, is like the eyes. So do some surgeries in eyes or some exams to check their eyes and somehow to help them this area.
E por último, a vacina da dengue, que é uma novidade mundial, que já chegou no Brasil, mas ainda não está dentro do Sistema Único de Saúde. Custa R$450 uma vacina. Então, a população ali daquela região é muito carente, e se houvesse possibilidade de haver uma campanha nesse sentido, seria muito benéfico para a região.
So third is like one of the great needs in this area. You know dengue. So now they have a vaccine for dengue, but it's very, very expensive. It's about 400 of our money for one shot. And for people from those areas, they don't have this money. They are very poor. So one of the great needs is to take this vaccine to this area and vaccinate people so they can protect them against dengue.
Quero agradecer a todos vocês e
I want to say thank you very much for the invitation.
Foi um prazer muito grande participar, rever o meu amigo pastor Leonei e agradecer muito pelo convite.
And say thank you for the invitation. Thank you, Dr. Sérgio.
No Amapá.
And I'm waiting for you here in Amapá. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
So you ready to go to Amapá? Yeah, we need to go and see the how you call that people group that dress
YMP.
the YMP. I need to go and see the YMP.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We have a lot of them.
Thank you so much, Pastor Leonie, and thank you so much, Doc. Put your hands together for they get an applause. Thank you so much. So we got a lot more into the timing here, but stay just in case there are any concern, any question before we go on. In person, any concern? Does anybody want to go to Amapa with me? Or hands up? Yeah, please. Okay. We got a ticket to start firing. Just more hands to go. Any concern? Okay, please give her the mic.
And from the training that the training facilities. So since getting the desirable number 500 seems as if it's not yet achievable. I want to ask, can they extend such training to maybe interested people outside Brazil? Because I noticed people are Brazilians. Like there may be people from other continents too that they can train, and those ones too will now be sent forward to other places, such that they'll be able to achieve the number. And
E Sérgio, você tá aí? Sérgio. Oi.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll be listening. Any other concern? Is he there? Okay.
Sérgio. Yeah, I know a little bit about the project, so
Okay, yeah, he's answering now.
because his first wave is that. Ô,
Okay.
Sérgio. Tá me ouvindo?
Estou te ouvindo.
Então, tem uma pergunta aqui. Uma das participantes da conferência perguntou o seguinte, com relação ao alcance do projeto. Ela vê que hoje são só brasileiros envolvidos, né? Ela quer saber se tem intenção desse projeto sair, tipo assim, das fronteiras do Brasil, você recrutar pessoas de outras nações também, ou só mais brasileiros?
Então, o projeto, ele visa não só trabalhar com brasileiros. É tão verdade que nós temos uma moça que é de nacionalidade peruana, e nós estávamos cogitando trazer um rapaz do Iraque para fazer medicina aqui no Paraguai e depois voltar como missionário para a sua região. Então, nós pretendemos, no futuro, sermos uma espécie de médicos sem fronteiras, com todos os profissionais de todas as nacionalidades.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we start with the Brazilians. The goal is not just stay with Brazilians. We have already one lady from Peru and another boy coming from Iraq to study there in South America. So the goal is soon in the future will be like doctors without borders.
Okay. And a follow-up question, like I see the training their own doctors. So what about a doctor, already trained doctor, who is a Christian and want to mission, but they don't have a commitment yet to a mission organization or to because we are ICMFEL, we are uniting doctors, Christian doctors, or doctors who are interested in doing volunteering thing. So we could have doctors already who are licensed maybe in their country, and they want to do mission. So they're open to evaluating doctors or nurses that's the second part of the question. Doctors who are already doctors, but want to do mission. So are they recruiting trained doctors already, but maybe you could get orientation though, well, trained doctors already, or they have to train from medical student, you become a doctor before you join. Then the second thing, apart from doctors, we were talking about the whole teamwork thing. Are they also thinking about, apart about the 500 doctors, do they have mind of nurses, the physician assistants, support team members? Do they have that in their plan?
Então, a próxima pergunta é a seguinte, porque o projeto é treinar jovens desde ali dos seus estudos, né? A pergunta é o seguinte, a organização estaria aberta a receber médicos que já são médicos, já são formados, já concluíram, já têm a sua licença e tudo mais, mas querem fazer missões, teria a possibilidade de recrutar também essas pessoas que já concluíram os estudos e já atuam na área de medicina. E a outra pergunta associada a essa é só para doutores ou também está aberto para enfermeiros, equipe de apoio e outros tipos de atividades?
Quando eu estive no Iraque, antes da pandemia, nós tivemos a oportunidade de enviar ali um técnico de radiologia, e nós não encontramos aqui uma pessoa que estaria disposto a ir ali ser técnico de radiologia. Respondendo a outra pergunta, profissionais que já são médicos, nós temos plataformas para enviá-los para vários países já dentro da Ásia, no que diz respeito ali à Euroásia, né? Cazaquistão, Uzbequistão, também ali para os países do norte da África. Então, tanto para profissionais médicos quanto profissionais de todas as áreas.
Not just doctors, but if you're a nurse or any other like industry or career, they can connect with the medical doctors or like even counselors can be part of it.
Yeah, yes, thank you so much. That was quite involving because we are building. So ICMFEL, we are building team for us. We are doing mobilization, recruitment, and so we would definitely be excited to have that kind of collaborations and connections, so that Christians, doctors, or professionals who want to do missions can have a platform.
Obrigado, Sérgio.
And thank you again so much, Obrigado. Is that Obrigado? Obrigado.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I will just start learning Portuguese as well.
Good bless.
I told you language, right? Language, food, culture. Yeah, that was part of the presentation this morning. And that's quite, if you want to go to Amapa, Pará, you just start learning a little bit of Portuguese. Yeah, you can't go and just be saying, you can't go to Amapa and be saying, no, that's for China, right? Yeah. In Brazil, in Amapa, we're gonna start saying obrigado.
Obrigado.
Thank you so much. Okay. So we are planning. We're gonna connect with Pastor Leo, and we're gonna keep in touch with you. 2024, there will be a team to Pará, Amapá. We already took those needs, the ophthalmology, the obstetric needs. We are coming by God's grace.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Pastor Leo, for that wonderful presentation, and also linking another mission. Okay, so at this time we will not to go on the time of time. We now invite our next speaker. He has been here also long. Dr. Yao Shan. So briefly, Dr. Shan will be speaking on
Let's share the screen. You got me.
So the last one,
Yeah.
he's here.
The last because
So I mean, actually, I don't
morning speaker.
and I don't know if it's convenient. So when will he speak?
Right
He's
after,
not
after
you.
you.
Are you okay? Where he did this?
He's in Ethiopia.
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 Ethiopia, yeah.
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia is like early morning for him. So
Good morning.
yeah,
Okay,
early
okay.
morning for him. So you can speak. So look at your PPT, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we'll do the English question for you.
Okay, who did today?
Easter my
Yeah,
This
this
is
will be
what
that one.
Okay, so Dr. Yao will be speaking on the experience studying medicine and volunteering in another culture in the USA. So brief bio of Dr. Yao. Dr. Son Yao holds a medical degree, is a medical doctor, has a medical Master of Science in Medicine, and also a Doctor of Philosophy in Medicine. He's a chief surgery, neurosurgery resident and assistant professor of neurosurgery, the first affiliated hospital of Sun Yat-sen University. Dr. Son received his MD, MS, and PhD degrees from the Southern Medical University between 2012 and 2019. So SMU family, you are proud, you have another, thank you. He accomplished a joint PhD degree program in the image-guided neurosurgery lab and was a postdoctoral research fellow in the skull-based tumor lab from 2019 to 2021 at Brigham and Women's Hospital, Harvard Medical School, Boston, Massachusetts, USA. His research continued to focus on the translation of a broad range of neuroimaging techniques to help neurosurgeons perform optimal brain surgery by defining and visualizing critical brain structures and pathologic tissue to be maximally removed and predicating the clinical outcomes for modeling our radiomics-based features. Dr. Yao is a member of the editorial board of Frontiers in Endocrinology, Oncology, Aging, Neuroscience, Neurology, and Journal of Neuroimaging, and is a reviewer of around 15 SCI journals, including Human Brain Mapping, Cancer Imaging, NMR in Biomedicine, Frontiers in Neuroscience, Neuroregeneration Research, and Cerebral Vascular Disease. He has been invited to give talks at the World Young Neurosurgeons Congress, the Congress of Neurosurgeon Society, United States of America, and the American Neurological Association. So we are very blessed today and glad to have with us Dr. Son, who will be sharing his own concept of voluntary medical mission.
Click here.
This.
Yeah. And
Okay.
yes. Good afternoon, folks. And many thanks for invitation, Dr. Bala. So today my topic will be about sharing my experience studying medicine in another culture, so Boston, USA, because I haven't any experience in volunteering, but I have interest. So, okay, here are my disclosures. I got some scholarship and grants.
Where are you? It's okay. Just pinch you up. Yeah, but you already.
I don't know this. Okay. Yeah. Great. Okay, I will talking about from my perspective as an exchange student abroad and as a global scientist and also Chinese neurosurgeon, maybe global neurosurgeon in the near future. So a little background about myself. I was born in central China. It's Henan province, a small town called Zhenyang country. And in 2002 July, my family we moved to Xinjiang province. It's very far away and it's here. It's the land is very big. It's 1/6 of China and share borders with Mongolia, Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. It's quite a small city and has a small population of near 0.6 million people, and area is 460 kilometers squares. And the main language is Mandarin, and some part of people speak Ugarish because some Uyghurs there, and there are 27 ethnic groups, but the main is Han ethnic, and the main economy there is cotton and also some kind of tourism. So there's the university there. I don't know if you know this one. We call Shihezi University. I haven't known this before. When I Google it, it shows it's quite good in medical school. I mean, in English, it's the first medical university in China offering MBBS in English totally, and so with a foreign expert, Professor Dr. Azin, yes. So and in the FMG results, it got #1 always. So it's really good. I don't know before. And in 2007, with my parents' suggestion, I went to medical college at the Southern Medical University in Guangzhou. I really still remember I was alone and my parents, because as you can say, when you enter the college, parents or your siblings with you. But at that time, I felt fear about the world, China, because I never been there. You know, when I moved to from Henan to Xinjiang, I was 12, so I know nothing. And when I graduated from high school, I still because all I know is from the online, you know, from people around me. And my father told me, okay, I think I will be safe. I'm a man, I'm okay. But at that time, there's no direct train from Xinjiang, Shihezi to Guangzhou. I have to take a transfer in Wuhan city. So luckily, because it's go to schooling season, so in the train I met some friends, young people. We talked. So that's we just chatting, and we know we all go to Guangzhou several once, and we go together. In Wuhan, you do transfer. We did transfer from one station to another one. It's not like this station you exist and then go upstairs to and take another train. No, like that, because I think there's 2 or 3 stations in Wuhan city. And I remember we took it's like a ship, the Yangtze River, and unforgettable. I was lucky. This is Southern Medical University. The SMU has 3 campuses, right? The main campus on the left side, and on the right, it's the biggest campus in Shende, and the third one is a small one. I didn't put here because I never been there. Because I like basketball. I play basketball in team, so it's our family. And 2 years later, and because SMU has had the most number of affiliations, hospitals, not only in Guangdong province, also other provinces over China. So many affiliation hospitals you can go and observe, do practice. So I selected the Wuhan city because I did the transfer there and had some memory there. I went to Wuhan. This hospital is it's a military hospital because MSU, formerly known as the first military medical university. So it's kind of traditional, and this kind of relationship between the SMU and this hospital is always. I don't know if you international students have a chance to go to Wuhan city. If there's a chance, I suggest you go there because Wuhan is huge, and also so many universities and so many international students. Not in the hospital, but in like Wuhan University, the Wuhan Technology of University, so many, and today, I tried the African food, and my college, Dr. Tan, also tried the African food, and he said he the first time to try the food, and I told him this is not my first time. My first time taking African food is in Wuhan. That's I think it's 2011 or 2012. It's almost 10 years ago, because I treated an African patient, and he's from Tanzania, and another guy from it's very close. I forget his name. And he suffered a pituitary tumor. It's not my major, right? Pituitary tumor in the center of the brain. His sexual function decreased, and also some vision problems. And we treated him, but not many people could talk in English. And some Chinese people, most know English, can read, can write, but speaking, sometimes kind of problems. And I want because I'm curious about him. I never treat making a friend or treat patients from Africa. Even so many African students on the street, but you don't have a chance to know him. So and then I know him. He's a really good man and husband, and he's also a teacher in a university, and he have written tons of books. He even has a library at home. He's knowledgeable, and he came to China to do to learn how to dig the gas, the gas oil. But before he came to China, he was a teacher teaching biology. I was so surprised because maybe it's a mission of his country needed this kind of talented people. So I was so I learned a lot from him. So he invited me to it's like a welcome to freshmen from Africans, kind of a very big event. Yes, I was invited there, and they're dancing, and have very and try the food. I like it. I don't know why, Yes. So when I was in the hospital, observe and to practice. First, at the beginning, I want to be orthopedics. But when I went to that department, the teacher brought me to the like a hip surgery section, and it's quite a lot of labor work, and I don't want to do this. And then when I was in neurology, I was, and I think it's amazing because CNS system, the central nervous system is so complex, and even one of the top 100 questions, standard question is the consciousness, right? And the black hole is another thing, and the universe, and then about the human is consciousness. Where is our consciousness from? We don't know, but sometimes we have belief, right? So okay, this is only one thing, and in neurology you can think we will make a when diagnosis, at the end, and you cure the patient, you feel very happy. And my senior colleague suggested me, if you are, but that's it's maybe it's not right, but he suggested, okay, you could be a neurosurgeon, and because you also have lots of chance to do neurological things. So okay, why not? Let's try, because in this hospital, neurosurgery is it's one of two national level, very good. So okay, I went to neurosurgery, and I enjoyed the life there, and I did a lot of clinical work, such as an assistant neurosurgeon, do some assistant work. And in 2017, this year, it's I remarked as a milestone year for me, because I just put the picture here today, because when I arrived in San Francisco, okay, also alone. The first time I went abroad, I took the flight. Luckily it's a direct flight from Wuhan to San Francisco, and because I went there, and my professor 2 days later he came, and subway exists. I met this girl, and he's amazing. He's a Christian, and so many. There's like a tiny table, some brochures of books, and some iPad show you some videos about Jesus, about God, and lots of interesting things. Because I had time, right? Because conference is two days later, so why not? And listen, and she introduced herself. She was like also a college student, kind of, I forget, but he talked with me about why she's a Christian, and what kind of thing she's doing. She went to church and do some kind of thing at the weekend. And another important thing is I got the best poster, because my research was selected to be presented in a conference. It's a neurological summit. So I present, and yes, and he's my professor, and he's the general surgeon. He's a great man. And the last day, our poster selected as the best poster. Each year only one best poster. So and in the conference, I met this guy, and he's a co-chair, Professor Blue, and he at that year, it's not 2021, it's later, 2017, and he's almost 80 years old, but he looks very passionate about his work, and this guy proposed the reward system. I don't know if you ever heard about the reward system in your human brain, because this is very important. Like addiction play a very important role in this kind of thing. And he's a very international scientist. But in the coffee time, I just asked him some questions, and we talk a lot. And after meeting, we sit down and drink tea, because I bring some tea, and he tried my tea, and I think, oh, the professor is so friendly, and not only talk about the science, also he played his song. This guy wrote a song called Dopamine Song. Dopamine is also in the reward system. It's great, and in that conference, I feel like, wow, the academic atmosphere is different in what I in China, maybe in my study circle environment. So I think maybe I can consider to go abroad and do some research or learn something from the professors. So because in China, I don't know your experience, but in our when I was a master student, professors are very busy. He's busy in clinical work, surgeries, and off work, some social activities, lots of things, and go to conference. And most they give you, okay, you are his student and master student. Okay, what's your interest? And give you a direction. Okay, go that direction. And not many details. How to do this? How to do that? Mostly like your senior college, like 师兄 or 师姐. Okay, we help you in details how to do research. So and but in that conference, I feel like the professor can teach hands-on. That's different thing. And can speed up your growth. Maybe it's different culture. And then I prepare your English because I was bad at oral speaking, and prepared the language test and everything. And then I got a scholarship. So I got 2 scholarships. One is the CSC, or the national, another one is from the Guangdong province. Then I got I got scholarship. I got offer from Harvard. I got several offers because I sent letters almost 20, and I got 5 letters from Harvard and UCLA and several one and another one from Canada. And I decided to go Harvard because everybody wants to go Harvard. Just go and see what's there. Here in Boston, and we're very close to this one, the Yale University, and the New York, Philadelphia, and Washington. It's northern, eastern northern area. So many very good universities there. And here are students in Boston. Yes, Harvard University and MIT, Boston College, Boston University. The Boston city is, I think, quite beautiful. It's not like New York. It's huge and very tall buildings, and it's very quiet. And the majority of people there they are educators. They are international scholars and some some technology things. Not too many economic things. So you feel very peace in your mind. And Boston is the home to near 35 universities, colleges, and then Massachusetts has near to, I think, 30 colleges, universities. So lots of universities there. And also sports. The four best sport team is great. And Celtics had won 17 champions in history. And Bruce won 6 champions in history. And this one is baseball. Boston Red Sox had won 9 champions. And the last one is Patriots. The American football has won 6 champions. So it's great, and also very famous for marathon. And the Boston Marathon is quite so. People there, the education, the sports, very positive and green. So so before I went there, I know the things where is Boston, and where's the neighbors and the culture things, and then I took the flight, taking 18 hours flight. Then no direct flight from Guangzhou to Boston. You can take a transfer in Hong Kong, or you can take a transfer in Shanghai or Beijing. And it's here, and very, very close to Canada, Montreal, right? Okay, and when you get a city, like my college time, he graduated this year, and we go to Netherlands, and you get a map in your hand, a physical map of electronic map in your phone, which is very important. And here, when you arrive at the airport, you know how to get to your destination. Okay, the Harvard Medical School. We take the blue line and then take a transfer to the green line. And in the middle is the map of the we call Longwood Medical Area, because Harvard Medical School, around the medical school, several hospitals, all in blue. The Boston Children's Hospital is ranked #1 in America for continuous this year is 7 years. And the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute is very famous in cancer. And the Brigham and Women Hospital, where I will go, and other hospitals. So Harvard Medical School is since 1782. It's one of the oldest medical school in America. So it's not big. It's not big as SMU, I think. This is a gate. That's the gate. That's the gate. And that's the main building. This is the main building and a yard. And along it's teaching buildings. And here it's a library. So that's all. It's very tiny. And after registration, you can go everywhere. The dental school, the public health. Yeah, public health, you can go. It's only 1 year, MPH. Yeah, and you can apply for the scholarship. Yes, in Harvard Medical School, when I was an exchange student, I also applied for like a continuous education. I got the full scholarship. You can write like a statement letter and introduce yourself and show your achievements in the past years in like a bachelor, master, whatever, and got another support letter from another professor of and you have a chance to get a scholarship. So I studied in the Harvard Medical School for 1 year. Well, when why not? If you have more time. The Harvard Medical School has almost 15 affiliations, so many, and the biggest one is MGH, and the second one is BW, we call Brigham and Women Hospitals, and the Boston Children's Hospital and the McLean. So McLean, if you are familiar with the psychiatry and the neurology, the McLean loop, a circle loop. McLean, it's very famous in psychiatry history, and the limbic system, the limbic about our human emotion, like emotion control kind of thing. Limbic will involve the hippocampus, the fornix, and also the amygdala kind of thing. This guy proposed this kind of concept. So this is Brigham and Women Hospital. This is a new one, and the middle one is the older building. I think almost I forget the history. And I did research in the Department of Neurosurgery. The Department of Neurosurgery at Brigham had quite a long history. It was established by Harvey Cushing. Harvey Cushing is the modern father of neurosurgery, and he did the surgery at Harvard, also in Yale. Here, this guy, the first one, the chairman of our department. Yes. And in department, I did research in 2 libraries. One is image guided neurosurgery library. The second one is scopic tumor library. Another story why I want to go to this kind of library, because I'm not as good at doing research, animal research. When you kill the animals, you feel, sometimes. So I select this kind of direction, using imaging to do some research and have patient. I will show you something later. Now, this is my professor here in science, and many thanks for him supporting me, agree, because when you go abroad and stay there 7 years, when you are you are a student here, right, PhD or master, whatever, your professor agree it's very important, because when you leave, nobody could help, right? So I appreciate his support. And this is my mentor in in at Harvard, and for my when I was a PhD student, as the assistant mentor, and this is my postgraduate mentor, Linda B. She was a Chinese, but she grew up in America, but she has so many interest in Chinese culture. Even she was born there and grew up there, but she can speak Chinese. She watch some Chinese drama, and sometimes when she was free, talk about ask you some question about China culture and this kind of thing. Some stuff I don't know. And this is another is my co-mentor. He's very talented. He's the chief of the neuroradiology, and he got computer science PhD, and so he can code. That's great. She's a neuroscientist focused on language. So this is our mentor and the director of the lab, and our members from almost the first one, Alice from Turkey, and from Germany, from China, from Canada, yeah. And I came here. One reason is this one, Amigo suit. This suit is the first operating room integrated PET MRI and MRI. I mean, if you here in the middle is a bed for patient. You can do operation on patient. On left side it's a MR scanner. On right side it's a PET CT. And if you so they can do some very precise tumor resection. And it's a national suit. So people from all the world came here and to see what they do. And this is me. Here, he's very interesting. I talked this with Bala weeks ago. So Professor Gobi, and now she is an amazing neurosurgeon, and she told us when she graduated from medical school, she graduated from Stanford Medical School, and she wanted to be a doctor in Africa, but at that time, lots of reasons, she didn't make it. But now she's almost 50 years old and is a full professor of neurosurgery and radiology. She's great. And now she led a team do the kind of thing, neural navigation. It's an open source navigation system, and the doctors, neurosurgeon in Africa, you can use kind of neural navigation system for free and do some precise tumor resection. And because this, and she did a lot of work. She was named a Fulbright Global Scholar on the strength, of her proposal to improve clinical care in Africa. And I googled and read the papers from the lab. If you have interest, Dr. Bala, you can read and maybe contact her and reach her. She's really nice. It's our lab meeting. Here is our colleague present. This is Dr. Gobi. And here's Dr. Gobi. And this one is I got a scholarship and do extended education in Harvard Medical School, learning biostatistics and how to do clinical trials. Yes. It's another lab I when I was a postgraduate student. It's all about imaging. I will tell you how important imaging is in our clinic. Okay, you go abroad, you will do study or research, right? But the weather is also important when you go to abroad. Maybe you will be a volunteer in another country, the weather you will care, because some people will won't like the weather because you feel uncomfortable, maybe have some allergies really. And Boston, the most time is cold and cool, and winter is quite long. But for me, I'm fine because in the Xinjiang, in winter is also very long, right? So it's very cold, very cold, very cold. And the food in Boston, I think you have heard about the Boston lobster. So lobster there is everywhere and very cheap. You know, $5 a very big lobster. You know, if you like food, seafood, you know, go there. I like seafood, and we buy the seafood on the market and make food. And you know, you know, in COVID-19 pandemic, we make food at home, and sometimes if you know in the restaurant it's expensive, and you can make food by yourself. All this I made all the food, and you buy the materials, the ingredients, and buy the book, how to cook. It's not hard, right? And I also make some Chinese food. Yeah, I cook this. Yeah. Yeah, I cook this. I do because I like hamburgers. You know, very funny. I think last weekend, right? Last weekend, Dr. Bala went to our hospital and give us a talk. It's very late. It's almost 9 p.m. Okay, and we all didn't have food, and I ordered McDonald's for for us. Dr. Bala said, "Oh, this is fast food. You don't like it," but I like the food, but I will make it. You know, the bird, this is real beef. You know, I make it. I grill. You know, yeah. And you know, if you like local food, that's fine. If you don't like it, you make it. So you learn skills. You know, before I went to Boston, I didn't cook much. But when I was there, I have to cook. You know, Chinese food there is quite expensive. Like you know, the fried. Why I put two pictures of the fried rice? Because my college in our lab, they all love the fried rice. So sometimes I cook a lot and bring to a lab and share with my colleagues. You know, you can put lots of the beans, the sausage, sometimes the ham, the corn. You know, it tastes good. Yes. Yes, you know, the weather, the food, you also should commit with people. So you should attend some activities. You will feel belonging in the city. So because otherwise you will go to depression. So because in our lab, you know, in our department, also some Chinese guys. I don't want to say this is not bad, but some Chinese people, they are kind of introverts, and they may speed up.
Yeah, you can start. I'm saying you can start summarizing.
Okay. Yeah. So I think be open-minded to local people and communicate with local people, and then you will learn more the culture. You can see the culture, feel the culture, and you touch kind of feel and feel it, and then you have your own thoughts about this place and the people there. And before I went to America, my family told me, "Don't go to America. Gunshot everywhere. You got shot. It's fun." And also, of course, you will see the balls, the baseball, the basketball, right? It's Thanksgiving, and also run around marathon. It's short. It's just it's not a big one. And then I came back. 3 years is very short, and I came back in 2021. I work in the science university, and then I put almost all my efforts in the neurosurgery. I did open surgery, minimal invasive surgery, endoscopy. Endoscopy is my main interest, and microsurgery. Just several slides. Briefly, because I will talk another thing. You know, it's a thalamic hemorrhage. You know, can you see that part in the right circle? That's a bone flat. It's around 3 diameters, And in that very tiny channel, I removed all the hematoma. And this is another one, ventricular hemorrhage, the pre-operative CTs. And this is the position, a patient. That's the incision, incision, it's around 5 centimeters long. Yes, except for the third ventricle and the fourth ventricle, all gone, the blood, the hemorrhage, and then leave a drain there. The another one, it's ganglia. I did this, it's very fast, and the patient outcome is good. You can say the blood is gone. I want to say, because we need some equipment to do this kind of surgery. It's very fast. Some people did a comparison. You can say when you use endoscopic technology to treat the patient, the operation time is significantly decreased, and the blood loss is decreased, and the ICU stay is decreased, and sometimes the outcome is is better. But not every place or hospital they can probably use kind of equipment, right? So this is endoscopic system. But some part of it, like this, transparent sheets and you can see glove, like this. You can use this kind of syringe to establish this pulse system. Can also do the kind of thing. I was thinking, you can use your creativity, right? To even you can't, not all thing. It's you can improve some part of low cost. And I didn't introduce too much in previous pictures. And this my best friend in America, Dr. Farhan Akhtar, and she's a British neurosurgeon. She's graduated from University of Cambridge, and now is a neurosurgeon in Cambridge. Also do some practice in Oxford, and now in America. And she's amazing, and she's a great neurosurgeon, and also she likes adventures, and she like our normal girls, like beauty. And she just got the flight lessons, flight lessons. And yeah, she's a neurosurgeon. She just got flight lessons 2 months ago, because she's a doctor. Not here, not right now. Can you imagine? She just came back from Ethiopia, I think 2 weeks ago, and she sent me pictures, this kind of pictures. And I told her I will present, share my experience here. And I asked her, what's your experience, working as working here, And she sent me some pictures. I was shocked. I never know about this. Was there? It's a disaster, I think. And the living environment there is not good, And this is her working condition. She showed me this is the clinical room to see patients, and this is the bed for the rest. And this is the surgery light, and it's broken by the ribos. And the kind of condition, she did a surgery, amazing surgery, a neurosurgery here. And beyond neurosurgery, she did the kind of other things. Because in the war, not only you are a neurosurgeon, not only neurosurgery cases, other cases, she also should take care. Beyond all this, a person, a friend, a neurosurgeon, she also a scientist. She did a lot of amazing good things. 3 books, and the last book I wrote 2 chapters. And in the papers, some co-authors, we write paper together. And motivated by her, and since 2018, I did research with her and with the mentors, and some collaboration works. You can see my citation goes up year by year. So I want to introduce another thing a little bit. My skills. I'm a neurosurgeon. I do neurosurgery and I do neuro-oncology, skull-based pituitary tumors. Importantly, here, new imaging, applied artificial intelligence, and radiomics. Why? Because radiomics can image, you get some features from image, whatever image from a lung, from everybody, CT, MRI, or DR, whatever. Some features can't be seen by our naked eyes. So that's kind of hidden features. If you can use computer science, artificial intelligence technology, like automatic driving, very complex artificial intelligence. But this kind of thing will go to business first. But in medicine, it's not many people, not that many people dive into this because businessmen go to profit. So if we can use artificial intelligence technology to do this kind of work, can help a lot of patients in rural areas. People, they don't have resources to do do some molecular thing. In our brain tumors, the histology, sometimes the gene mutation can play a very important role in patient outcome. If you can find some imaging features, that can be could be a very good biomarker can correlate it to the patient's genomics and pathology kind of thing. You can improve patient care and outcome, right? So like this, because some kind of disease you don't need operation, you can observe. Some need operation, surgery. Some kind of patients they need radiation. So how do you make a good decision, right? So imaging is universal, not like the others. Pathology, okay, most probably can do, but genomics take a lot of money. So if you can build good models using imaging data, people from rural area, they can use a model, can just import the medical imaging, and then I can tell you this is very malignant, the ultimate bad. This is good, or this is why you needed to do operation. Just observe, came to a clinic regularly, year by year, kind of thing. Okay, a brief conclusion. If you want to go abroad to do medicine, whatever, and first of all, I think should be open mind to keep curiosity about the world, because the world is so big, and the universe is so big, and embrace the challenges, take the challenges. If you make it, you will grow up and see and touch and feel the world, people there, and of course independence. I remember this morning, a lady, particularly when you are volunteer, you should be independent. You can't depend on others a lot, right? And jumping out of your comfort zone, and it's better you can cook, and if you have more time, you can do part-time job, can make a little money, and also you can experience culture. You can commit with people, and then you can have some kind of critical thinking. And the culture shock, in terms of culture shock, if you open mind, if you are independent, the culture shock should be okay for you, because you are so proactive to the outside. So you will know the history of the country, of the area you will go, and know some languages, and you know their religion, the festival, the food, and also communication, right? If you can't speak, you can use body language. This is universal sometimes. And making friends, attend activities, and of course, if you go study abroad, you should have some skills. Otherwise, you can't get the offer, right? You can't get the letters. Why they will accept you, offer you this position, right? Because like some very good universities and the product scholarship. Sorry, the last one is the skills. You should have some skills. Then they need you, right? Okay, thank you very much for all the people. And thank you, Dr. Bala. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Song. Thank you. Would I entertain question, comment from online and in person? Yeah, comment or question or Dr. Shaw?
Message on it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. From experience that you shared, talking about low and medium income countries. Most African countries fall into that category. So I want to ask, as Dr. Bala is there, he will be the second neurosurgeon in this country. If the opportunity comes, would you like to go in the center? Knowing fully well that there will be need for surgeons, there are people that they even get diagnosed with a tumor, brain tumor, and stuff like that. Would you be willing to help, especially in the aspect of training people in getting all these apparatus that are not that expensive, but when we're talking about primary health care, that's to do with the ability for you to be able to develop a technique or a means around a procedure so that people could afford it. It's not necessarily that it's expensive, but something affordable and within their own means to provide, and something that is sustainable. Would you be willing to train people in Africa to have this kind of technical procedures that are not expensive? And would you be willing to volunteer in some of the countries? Thank you.
Thank you for good question. So where are you from? Nigeria. Great, great. I know so many runners here. Yes, I'm very happy to do that kind of thing if there are a chance. So why I show some some slides about my operations, because I want to show you, because I'm a student, then I'm a scholar, scientist, and then I came back. I do practice. I will put. So nowadays, I will focus on my practice, because then you can save people, right? You do practice, you save people's lives, and you do research. You can improve something fundamentally. You can develop some technology kind of thing. So like my mentor, Dr. Gobi, she has a team. Some people have, some professor or assistant professor has a background of bioengineering, and she's a neurosurgeon. She don't know any coding, but some people were influenced by her and doing develop navigation together kind of thing. It's open exercise. I haven't delved into this navigation, but if there are some needs, we can talk together and to know more about the navigation system, and I can contact my mentor. That should be great, because Dr. Gobi, she went to Africa almost every year, but not every year because the pandemic, sometimes other things. She spent his vacation on in Africa and do some normally 2 weeks, maybe surgery there. If I have chance, I like to go, and now I need to more practice and have more skills, surgical skills. Yes.
Okay, my question is, your training for is in China, and and then went to study for 2 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
So initially you said Chinese language as media, right?
Yes.
And went to the States to study using English. I can imagine that there was probably a bit, you were probably feeling overwhelmed. My question is, how did you deal with it? And how would you advise someone who is going through the change, going through that change, especially in terms of not just the content, but the language? What advice would you give to someone?
Yeah, that's a really good one. Also, I will advise to my college doctor, and he will go to Netherlands. And you are right. You know, in China, I think you already know some Chinese people, students. They can read, they can write, but they can't speak. You know, when I first arrived in Boston, I attended a live meeting. I didn't understand anything. To be honest, I don't understand because I didn't listen too much before I went to America, and also I didn't listen too much native speakers language, right? You know, people in our university, we speak, teachers may speak English, or some our students speak English, but in America they speak very fluent and some kind of accent. We don't know. I don't understand because very professional talk in neurosurgery. It's not kind of life scenes. So then you will lost. You know, feel really like you overwhelmed and then I record the meeting. And I have a micro record. And back home you will play it and listen. Oh, it's kind of thing. My pronunciation is not right. So I can't understand. Because that kind of pronunciation in your mind is wrong. So when you listen to others, you don't understand. So because when you attend the live meeting, there's some slides. You know some ideas, the main story, but you don't know some details you lost. And then when you play the record, and then you will think, okay, it's that word, okay, and later on you improve. Yes, and another thing is when you arrive in our country, like my college, try to find the people local. If she's nice, you make a friend with you. That's great. Just do anything, it's okay legally, and and yes, and cheer up together and have food and do some other activities, kind of thing in life, and then your listening skills and speaking skills will improve. It needs time. For me, I think almost 2 or 3 months, and then I feel very comfortable in the meeting. Yes, it's a real challenge. So be open mind. Yes, don't give up. Right.
Yeah, Chantal is really good, like you.
Yeah.
Talking that he's gonna visit Maronia sometime.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so
Yeah. Is Dr. Hacht? Dr. Hacht, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So this time I want to take this time to thank Dr. Sean. Thank you very much for the presentation and the work you do in neurosurgery. We look forward to seeing you in some of those hard to reach areas like your colleague who went to Ethiopia, especially in the Tigray region, so that you can also contribute in some of those difficult environments as well. Thank you very much. Okay, so at this moment we will join Dr. Jonathan Managogo Hart, a Liberian cardiothoracic surgeon who is currently residing in Ethiopia. So Dr. Hart will be presenting on encouraging testimony, a heart of service. So currently he is Liberia's lone cardiothoracic surgeon and also an assistant professor of surgery and then at the Salvation Army Polytechnic College of Health Sciences. So, and he is the founder and CEO of Rescue Children's Heart, a non-for-profit organization in the Republic of Liberia. So, Dr. Hart, you're welcome, and we are glad to have you sharing with us your testimony. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. It's been a long night for me. I have to wake up at 4 o'clock to make sure that I follow this entire conference. I didn't just want to come and present and leave. Thanks to the team for giving me the privilege to speak to you on what God has done for me and what God is intending to do with me. So today, my testimony will be on the topic, God always show up in vulnerable circumstances. There are times, as believers, we think that God, is not watching over us. But I stopped by to encourage those of us who have some challenges in life that God will show up. He will definitely show up for you if need be. You can rest assured that God will show up for you. As the introduction has been made, currently I'm in Addis. Now let's look at I was born to a mixed family, a Christian and a Muslim family. My father was a Christian from Nigeria, and my mother was a Muslim from Liberia. Unfortunately, I did not get to know my mother until I was like 27, 28 years of age before I saw my biological mother for the first time. Now, when my mother got pregnant, my father came with his wife from Nigeria. But later on, we get to know that she was barren. She could not, get a child. So she allowed him to take, another woman in order to have children to inherit his property. So my mother got pregnant for us, and we were two. And she was sick, very sick during the pregnancy, unhealthy pregnancy. And I was told that the pregnancy lasted for up to 10, 11 months. And then they have to go to the village to find out what she was having a protracted pregnancy. And my grandfather was an imam, the head of the mosque. And then he consulted his oracle, and he was told that there were two children in my mother's stomach, and that one of the born babies was evil. And it was agreed that when the children are born, the smaller one in size is definitely is the evil one. And that one should not be allowed to live because he was the one that intended to kill the family. That the issue of twins in Africa up to the early 80s, they existed. And my father said he agreed because he knew if he had said no, the same way they got to know that there were two babies in the stomach, they could do something and to kill the children. So he agreed with them in order to save the lives of his children. And when we were born, I was the smaller one. I spent like 2 weeks in the incubator because I was very small. My knees were all joined together. My head is relatively much organized because my stepmother did a very good job to remove my head. And then my grandfather came to perform the ritual to have me destroyed. And my father refused, to allow them to kill me. And because of that, my grandfather came in the house and I was classified as the evil child. That the fact that my father decided to keep me in the house, my mother and her family will have nothing to do with that family. So after 2 weeks of birth, my grandfather came and took my mother away. I didn't see my mother until I was like 27, 28 years of age. I didn't even know that I had a mother other than the one that I saw and I grew up with. And that was the first part. And then we went through that issue. I didn't even know that my stepmother was my stepmother. She was a nice mother. And then came the 1990 war. And then and ECOWAS began to send the troop to protect the government because they did not want the rebel to come into the city because the city was now crowded with internally displaced people. So ECOWAS formed a protective force and sent to Liberia. And then Charles Taylor refused for ECOWAS to land. And he did not agree that ECOWAS should come to mediate the issue of the war. So when ECOWAS sent in the troop, what Charles Taylor and his rebel did was to assemble, adapt every national whose country had provided troops towards the ECOWAS mission. And that included Nigeria, Ghana, and Guinea, I think Senegal. And then during that time, my father had retired from his little work he was doing. He was on his farm in Grand Cape County, one of the villages distant away from the city. And one early morning, July 10, and the rebel drove into our city, our village. In Pico, we have to run into the bush to hide ourselves. Our parents were gathered, tied, tortured, and taken away to Bomi County. And they were kept for about 4 months in the administrative building. It's not just about keeping them. They collected all the Nigerians, the Ghanaian, and the Guinean. And it was a slaughter hub for them, where the rebel would decide every day who to kill and who not to kill. And those who they felt had money, they would torture you until you gave them the money you had. And because my father was involved in diamond mining and gold, they believed that my late father had money. So my late father and my mother were regularly tortured almost every week, because they wanted money. Unfortunately, my father did not have money, and they could not believe it. And then my brothers, we have five kids, 1 girl, 4 boys. And then I and my brother were the last, so we had nowhere to go. We knew no one in the country, so I had to go with my father into the hostage where they were kept in the administrative building. And my other 3 brothers have to join the rebel. That was the only way they could save their life, because those days, if they kill anyone, if they kill a person, anyone who has the same name, for example, I'm Jonathan Hart, it means my father's name is Hart. So if my father Joshua Hart was killed, anyone with Hart name would definitely be killed. So they killed the entire family. In other words, it was a genocide, something that have not been said to the international world. It was more than just a rebel war. It was a genocide for a group of people that have committed no crime. So they killed you, they killed your wife, they killed your children, they killed everyone in their household, except you found means to escape. That was the situation we found ourselves in. Very horrible. Barely 9 years of age. Okay, and I have to be with my parents early in the morning. Once we hear the pickup sound coming with the rebel, I will have to run out and hide myself, and they will come and pick who they want. Until from July to October 8th, it was the time for my parents. On the 5th morning, my parents were assembled, taken down in the swamp, in the mangrove swamp. They were tied with their hands behind them and their feet tied. It was not just about killing. It was about the manner in which they killed. Those days, if a pregnant woman is about to be killed, the rebels would decide how to kill you. They would argue among themselves, should we use the bullet or should we use the knife? If you are lucky, they will use the bullet and make your suffering short. If you are unfortunate, they will use the knife. Sometimes they left the pregnant women alive and open the stomach and get the babies out before even killing the mother. That was the faction of how the rebels were operating during those days. So my father's time, my parents' time reached, it was a debate. Since my father had refused to give them money, it even get them more angry. And they decided that they would not use bullets. And I was just like maybe a few feet away watching in the crowd, because it was public execution. They do the execution in the midst of the entire township or the entire village. Everybody will gather around. And at that time, no one is allowed to cry, because they felt that if you cry, it means that The person they are killing is your relative, and then you will also be killed. So I followed them. I followed the pickup to the site where my parents were about to be killed. And then, they got my mother, and they decided they will use the knife. They will not use the bullet because my father is stubborn. He doesn't want to give them money. So my mother was the first one. That was my stepmother, the one I knew to be my mother. And then they killed them in faction. My mother and my parents were killed with knife. They didn't even start from the front, they start from the posterior because they said they wanted my parents to suffer. So my father refused to give them money. And I sat there, my mother, I was a troublesome child. I was not a good child. Trust me, I was a troublesome child. So my mother and myself were always in a fight. So she was not a mother, that I really like. So I could bear them killing her. I could grieve and feel the pain. I could not cry. And then when they cut the neck and when they reached to certain part, she began to shake her limbs like you cut the neck of a chicken or a cow. And I heard my voice. I did not cry. Then came my father. My father was the only one that believed in me, the one that I had protection in. And he was my best friend and the only person I knew that I could go to for rescue in my days of stubbornness. So when my father turned rich and as they begin to cut his neck, and when I saw him begin to move his limb in that forceful mean, I could not hold my silence anymore. And I burst out in cry. When I opened my mouth to cry, a lady from the crowd that was just behind me put her hands to my mouth and took me from the crowd. And I had to go to exile. That was the darkest part of my life. I walked from Liberia to Sierra Leone. I don't know how many of you know the distance. I could not calculate the distance, but it took us 3 days of intense walking because we have to run. We have to run. And there was torture and days on the way, but by the grace of God, we went into Sierra Leone, a neighboring country. And then after a few months, the war broke out in Sierra Leone. The lady who carried me and got disappeared, and I have to live and survive in Sierra Leone on the street of Sierra Leone. And I finally make my way back to Liberia. I came to Liberia in 1992, and I spent the next 2 years in the street of Liberia, nowhere to sleep, no food to eat. It was horrible. But as I said, God is always available in vulnerable situation. I don't know what situation you are faced with. I don't know what your stories are, but I know every one of us has a unique story. But I want to assure you that God will intervene when the time comes. He will intervene when there is a need, like he did for the children of Israel at the Red Sea. The Bible said the Egyptian armies were behind them, the Red Sea was before them, left and right were valley and mountains. They had nowhere to go. But at that point, where there was no hope, God intervened. That was my state at that point. I had no hope. I was roaming the street. When I came back from Sierra Leone, I spent like 3 days without food. I was very hungry. And being desperate for food, I got myself connected to one criminal, and I found myself in prison for 5 days. And in that prison, I was beaten every morning to confess to the crime that I did not commit. But because I was desperate, I wanted to get food by all means. And I connected myself with this guy. Fortunately for me, before the commander came, another commander came and rescued me. That's how I survived that. As I was tired, when I came back from Sierra Leone, I was arrested. They said I was rebel from Sierra Leone. I was tired, kept with 2 adults in the room. Before daybreak, I wasn't tired as severely. They just tied my hands. At least they said I was a little bit younger. But the 2 adults were tired. They were tired severely to the extent that before daybreak, they have died. Even though they have died, I was with them in the room. And in the morning, I woke up. I can't hear them talking again. And I tried to push them. They can't shake. And I got frightened. I began to cry. Only to know that they were dead. And then, fortunately for me, the rebel leader, Chancellor, older brother, was around that morning when I was taken out to go to be executed. And when he saw me, he like, "Why are you carrying this child?" He said, "Oh, he's a rebel. He's from Sierra Leone. He fighting against us." And I'm like, "I am not a rebel. I'm a refugee." And I stepped in. He said, "No, this child is small. You can kill him." He took me into his custody. That how God rescued me from that. There were times that I wanted to commit suicide. Left was bitter. The trauma was so much. The sorrow and the pain were too much for a child. I felt I have lost everything. I went days without food. I was always tortured. I was always, because I retained my name. My brothers have to change their names, okay, to another name, but I retain my name. And wherever I go, once I call my name, I will be arrested and I will be beaten. And some way, somehow, God will come in and rescue me. Then that was the day, the dark days, you know, when I moved around the street of Monrovia. The good thing is that, thank God that my father was a Christian. And I can remember early in the morning and in the evening, they would gather up for devotion before we go to school and before we go to bed. It was something I did not learn. I hated, you know, coming out early in the morning to have devotion before going to school. Little did I know that this was going to be my strength in the time of trouble. So in the street, you know, we have to go and steal, you know, and steal people's phones, steal people's property to go and sell it. So when we gather together, you know, my friends are planning to go. I'm like, I am not going to steal. I just can't do it. So sometimes when they come with the food, they say, look, we can't give you our food because you say you can't steal. So we can't risk our life, get the food, and then you want to eat. You know, so but this was a decision, you know, that I wanted to make. But each time I tried to join them, I remember, you know, our morning devotion, that I should not steal as a child. You know, those things were in my mind. I just couldn't do it. And then I met my sister. I met my sister in 1993, and I moved into my sister's house. And I thought I had my elder sister. I thought I had a rescue. But that was one of the most, apart from the death of my parents, my experience with my sister was like a slavery life. At present, I have some eyes problem that I developed from my sister treatment, and I have to leave the home and go back in the street because for me at that time, the street was better than the home of my sister. So I prefer going back to the street because in the street, no one was beating me, no one was traumatizing me, and no one was abusing me. But in my sister's house, I was being abused, being tortured, and being, you know, maltreated. And I went back into the street. Then God showed up again and brought in the Salvation Army. It's an international church, headquarters is in England. And then my friends saw me like, there's a church. You know, I was in this singing group. I joined the group to go and sing and then do street dance and street singing just to survive. And on one occasion, I met this guy. He said, but you sing well. What are you doing in the street? I said, well, I have nowhere to be. He said, oh, but come to my church. I said, what's the church? He said, Salvation Army. You know, the name of army traumatized me so much that people with guns, people with uniform, I just hated them. I didn't want to see them around. So I told him, look, I can't go to a church that is named Army. He said, look, Hart, I know your trauma, but this is not the army of men. This is the army of God. And I think they get a place for you. So after some time of encouragement, I moved into the church. I joined the choir. I didn't really join to visit the choir to help teach the choir to sing at time. And then there's a lady who took interest in me and decided to help me. And she spoke with the head of the church. That was Colonel Brian John Knackley. And then they took me into the dormitory. And that's how my life changed. And from the Salvation Army dormitory, my life had never been the same again. And I want you to know that God is available. And I went through high school. I came out at the top of my class. I went to college, came out at the top, medical school, postgraduate. Everything seemed okay at that point, even though it's ups and downs. But God had been molding me for a task. You know, the theme of the topic, this conference is volunteering. Okay. And then come 2019, when I finished my postgraduate study in general surgery, I look around, I realized that in Liberia, there is no cardiothoracic surgeon. And as a young doctor, you know, I see a lot of children and their parents coming to the hospital every day. We can't do nothing for them. You know, the parents are looking up to you for solution. And you have seen this child with just a single heart disease, but you know in your mind that you cannot do anything. And you are convinced that in other countries, these children will not die. But in our country, these kids are sentenced for death because there is no means to conduct cardiac surgery in our country. You can't even have the finance to get them out of the country. So I said to myself, no, if I should do any subspecialty, I must do it for these kids. So there's a scholarship club that came out And so they're going to, give fast scholarship to doctors, and I applied. But let digress a bit. During my high school years and my undergraduate and postgraduate year, I've been in advocacy, I've been speaking against justice, because if you understood what I went through, if you know the feeling of the trauma I went through, you will not want another person to face the same. So my past life has transformed me in being an advocate for justice, peace, and inequality. So I've been fighting the government, fighting the health authority for a better healthcare system. But I think that our parents, our brothers, and the kids can be treated. Have condemned the government when the government have done something. So this current government classified me as enemy to the government. And I was okay with that because I was certifying my creator, because I know what it means to be a street child. I know what it means to be abused. I know what it means to be discriminated against, because I've lived those life and I've tasted the pains of those life. And I said to God in the street that if you rescue me, where I will be, there shall be no injustice. I will not close my mouth, because the fact is that on that fateful day, on October 8th, when my parents were being killed, I could not cry. Because when I'm going to cry, I literally closed my mouth, because it would have killed me. And I said to myself, that would be the last time that my mouth will ever be close to injustice. You know, many people don't understand what I speak and what I do back home. Many people see me as buying people problems, that I like trouble. Sometimes they say, this problem is not your problem. Why are you picking it up? And I say to myself, if only you know what it means to watch people killing your parents, and you can cry, you can say a word. And I said to God, if you rescue me, I will never keep quiet. And for that, I became an enemy to the previous government and this government. So when my name was submitted for the scholarship with 5 young doctors, and then we called for interview, we were granted the scholarship by the previous administration. We got admission to admission in Ethiopia. And about 2 to 3 weeks to the scholarship, the leadership was changed. They brought in another group of people. Unfortunately for me, those groups that they brought in were part of the group that have been suppressing the health sector, that have been doing things that I felt that have not been good, and I've been condemning them, I've been vocal against them. So when I took over, they felt it was the perfect time to get at me, to frustrate me. So they called me up and said, sorry, Hart, we don't know where the money is coming from, so there is no more scholarship. And I went home depressed. And then I cried to my God, and I said, God, I'm back to you. So I said to myself, I will go. I have lived the street life. I have survived the street life. So I said to myself, if I will sell in the street of Addis, I will go. I will sell in the street of Addis, but I will have to do this. And trust me, whatever you say you want to do, if you trust God and believe God, you can do it. No matter what people say, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the condition is, if you remain committed to yourself and you remain focused and trust God, you can make it. So I called the professor, the former president for the college, called me. How this is the situation. I learned that you have been denied the scholarship. How will you manage? I said, Prof, I am going. He said, but you have 3 more days to go. Do you have money? I said, no, I have no money, but I am going. I believe God has called me to do this. So what I did, I have my little vehicle. I have just pushed it. I have to sell my vehicle, sell my bed, sell every little belonging I had just to get a plane ticket. My aim was to have a plane ticket. My belief, well, I don't know where that faith always coming to me, that confidence always with me. I believe that when I get to Ethiopia, I will find a solution. My major problem was to get out of Liberia. And so I sold my vehicle, I sold my mattress, I sold my television, every little thing I have to sell them. I mean, very auction level, because people could not pay the exact amount that I wanted, but I needed to go in 3 days' time. And the eve to my trip, the woman called me, the senior professor, I said, have you gotten money? I said, no. He said, come to my office. And I got a taxi and I went to his office. And he gave me an envelope. He said, go and get your ticket. In this envelope, there is money for your ticket. There is money for your hotel for the next 2 weeks. Get a hotel. When you find an apartment, you let me know. I didn't open the envelope from him. When I got out, I opened it. It was, I think, 6,000 United States dollars. And I was shocked. And I went back to him. I said, but Prof, you gave me 6,000. He said, yes, I have watched you. I have seen you. And I think you deserve it. You have been one of the young person I believe that committed to what you want. I have not seen such a faith like you. So whatever it takes for you to get your qualification, I will support you. And I was overjoyed. And I went to the airline, get a ticket, and the next morning, I packed my things and I'm on my way. I only had money enough for the plane ticket and for 2 weeks in the hotel. I never had money for school fees, nothing. Then I came in for interview, and the university, Addis University, asked me for my letter of support. And I told them, no, there is no support. They said, but when you applied or have the first online interview, you told us you had scholarship. And that is why we admitted you into our university. You cannot come here with a scholarship. This is only government and government agreement. And I looked into the director's eyes and the chairman of the department. I said, Prof, I must do this. And they asked me, why you must do this? I said, because my people need me. And they said, why do you think they need you? I said, because back home, there is no such person. And then the room got quiet. All the Ethiopian, professor got quiet. And then one of the older men looked at for long. He said, and you came with no money? I said, yes. He said, what is the courage you have? I said, I know God will do it for me. And then we had the interview. He said, leave, we'll get back to you. That was on Friday when I reached. On Monday, they called me. They said, okay, you can stay in our school. You can stay as long as you want to stay in our school. You can go to school. We will not ask you for school fees, but make sure before you get your documents, you have cleared your area, which is somewhere around 34,000 United States dollars. I said, no problem. Once I can, go to school on credit, I can pay. They said, yes, if you finish and you cannot pay our fees, then you have to work for the number of years that you spend in our school. I said, that is perfect. That was God doing it for me. Because I was worried when I went home on Friday, I could not sleep. Saturday, I could not sleep. Sunday, I could not sleep. I was like, wow, I do not have a return ticket. How do I even go back if they say, we are not accepting you? But God stepped in. And after 3 years, up to now, I still have $8,000 balance for them. And I'm able to complete my school year. Now, after the first year, the professor gave me the first year rent. After the first year, COVID came in and the finance of the woman dropped. And I went back to the university. I said, I do not have a house to live. They said, wow, okay, we'll give you an apartment. And they gave me on the 7th floor, they gave me a huge flat, apartment, electricity there, water, security, internet facility. I have reason to pay for nothing. So that is what God can do, Christian brother and sister. If we believe in God, if we put our trust in God, God will always show up when we need him. All we need is to have faith and push ourselves. I know sometimes it seems impossible. Sometimes it seems unrealistic, but be positive. Be positive and be persistent and be confident in your God. He will do it for you. Today, I am a cardiothoracic surgeon. I cannot explain how it happened. All I can tell you that God showed up in my situation. And God had turned my story around to a beautiful story. God can turn your story around. Now, when I finished home, I decided to do something for my country. So I decided to organize a voluntary group. So I established, from the Rescue Children's Heart Foundation. It's an international organization because we register in the United States of America also. We have our partners and our members in the state. The aim of this foundation was to pick out those children that need cardiac help. Look for sponsors to send them out of the country for treatment. So we organized our protocol, our objective. And then when I went home, when I went back after a while, I thought of it. You are a cardiac surgeon. Why you want to be sending children out of Liberia? Why you can't work on establishing a cardiac center in Liberia? Do you want to be a registrar for the overseas doctors? So that we change our objective from sending children abroad. We have managed to send like 8 to 9 kids abroad for treatment. But presently, we have maybe 12 children on the waiting list. We cannot get funding for them. Just the last 2 days ago, one of the children passed out because they have complications and nothing could be done. But it's pathetic back home. We have a team, the next slide can the next slide. So we have a team of people on ground. We have created awareness. We conducted a research. It's established in the European Society, Journal of Society. You can find it there. We conducted a five-year retrospective study to find out the burden of heart disease in Liberia among the children. So this research was done in a single hospital. So it is a representative image of what is happening in our country, but it does not give us a full understanding of the exact magnitude of the problem of pediatric cardiac diseases in Liberia. As per this research, if you look there, we see that 8 out of 1,000 children born will have heart disease, which is relatively the same around Africa and in most of the world, which is alarming. Okay. And we see that most of our children are diagnosed very late in life, before they are diagnosed in either infancy or toddler life, which is not good. By that time, they have had major complications, which make the outcome of the surgery, somehow challenging. The best time to diagnose the case is when they are during that neonatal period or in the first 2 months of life. If you can identify them and intervene, the outcome is perfect. But we have to wait for the child to go into infancy and to the state. Then we start having heart malfunction of the heart, and then we start having problems with the surgery. So in Liberia, our case, only 2.9% are diagnosed during neonatal period. The rest of the 97% are diagnosed from infancy to early childhood. And we also realize that the instrument used for diagnosis, meaning physical and history, there is no diagnostic tools, okay, to make adequate diagnosis. So the doctors back home are not trained, okay, in the diagnosis of cardiac diseases. If they have little understanding, they do not have the equipment to help them make the adequate diagnosis. So most of our kids, more than 97% of them are diagnosed just by history and physical findings. And then we see amongst the diseases that we found, the cardiac disease we found among our children who have the ventricular septal defect, that is in the hole between the two ventricles. We have the pitted ductal atherosclerosis, communication between the pulmonary artery and the aorta. We have the complex one, tetralocephalic, that have a complex condition, and then we have rheumatic heart disease. Those are the commonest ones we found in our research. And unfortunately for us, of these children, more than 87% have no means for treatment, as I said earlier. Okay, we wait for them to die. Okay, and of them, only 72%, okay, of the patient, we do not even know that parents got tired coming back to the hospital, so they do not come for follow-up, because you come every day with the expectation of having a solution, but you cannot have it, so they get tired coming. Okay, and so about 72% of the mother or the parents do not bring their children for follow-up, and the rest of the kids are running around. So the next slide, Dr. Bala. So this is a serious problem we have in our country. It's a problem that we try to see how we can solve. We may not have the solution to it, but we believe that the same God that rescued us from the street, the same God can do it for these children. So we classify pediatric disease in Liberia as a neglected, non-communicable clinical disease, because no one wants to invest into it. When I finished my work, we came back to Liberia. No one is interested in investment, but we think that the time has come that we give hope to these children. And it will entail the work of a lot of people, but we are trusting God to make it happen for us. The next slide. No. I send you a modified one, Dr. Bala.
Bala, it's not. So you send a.
No, then I think that was Silma. So you just summarized.
Okay, you can just summarize it, because I think it left on the phone.
Yeah, those are pictorial issue. You can summarize picture in your
pictorial. Oh, say it was for pictorial.
Okay, no problem. It's okay. Yeah, but we wanted to give some pictures of the condition of the children we have, but it's okay. We have interacted with the children. So what we did when we came back home, we had a proposal that is into 3 phases. The first phase cost of the proposal is around $250,000 to get 10 persons to be trained. For example, we need the perfusionist, because to do a cardiac surgery, we have to stop the heart from beating. Those of you who are not doctors, We have to stop the heart from beating. And we know that our heart cannot stop beating for more than 5 minutes. If our heart stops beating for more than 5 minutes, we are dead. So for a cardiac open heart surgery to take place, we must bypass the heart. So we do not have anyone in Liberia, okay, who is trained to manage such equipment, the bypass machine. So in our project, we tend to train 2 persons to work on the machine. There is no cardiac ICU. There is even barely no ICU in my country. Okay, in recent time, last year, JFK, the National Referral Hospital, managed to get 1 ICU with 2 ventilators, but the rest of the country, there is no ICU. So patients in critical conditions will have no means to revive that state. So we also do not have cardiac ICU. No one is trained in cardiac ICU care. So we tended to train 4 nurses in cardiac ICU and those that will work with us. So the total budget came around $250,000 Liberian dollars. We spent 9 months in Liberia engaging the government and other entities. But again, as African politics is, we are not interested in the well-being of our people. We only pretend that we are interested in them, but we are not interested in them. So we currently, there are 100 and there were 176 in December. 8 children have died, so it's around 160 something children on the list with cardiac disease. I mean, complex, ranging from simple to complex cardiac disease. I wanted to show the image of those kids. We celebrated the World Congenital Heart Defect Day on February 7. We invited a few of the parents. They showed up with the kids. We wanted to show you how serious our brethren is. Okay, but we are trusting God. Okay, we are trusting God. Our team is built out of volunteers. That is why I love, the Reverend who spoke on preparing for your mission and stuff. This is something that I know how idea in. I was picking people of technical competency. But thank God I was part of this conference, and I got to know that I have to pick people based on character, not just only technical ability. So we are working towards this, but the message here is that if God can do it for me, if God can do it for me, as I said, I do not know my mother of people. I saw her maybe 2 times. She refused to accept me. Even up to now, she still feels that I am an evil child. She does not want to identify with me. My father is a Nigerian. It means that I was completely with no relative in this country. But God provides means that I walk through the street and today I'm out. But the purpose of my life is not to purify myself. I believe that God brought me out for a reason. And the reason that God brought me out is to do what I am doing, is to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves, is to stand up for those who do not have the strength to stand up for themselves. It is to do the impossible things, the things that people think that it is impossible, the things that people think that they are impossible. The same way I thought that it would have been impossible for me to leave the street, but God said, no, there is nothing impossible for me, and God got me out. It's my hope and my belief that every situation that people think is impossible, with God, it is not impossible. So thank you all for listening. God bless us. I want us to keep our hope. I want us to put ourselves in the spirit and the mental and the mentality of volunteerism. It's very important. There are people who need us. There are people who cannot talk for themselves. I know sometimes we are afraid to speak against evil because we do not want to hurt certain people. But remember, it may not be your relative today, but that person has a reason to live. So wherever you find yourself, no matter what the situation is, do not allow evil to live with you. You can volunteer in advocacy. I saw the guy from Brazil. He showed okay, those horrible pictures. There are people in Africa more than that condition that need people to stand up for them. Until we all can put our little effort together, if everyone brings his talent on board and everyone brings in the little he or she can bring in, we can change our situation. We can change children who are in the state that are in. We can make them to be reasonable people today. Who knew that I would have been a heart surgeon? Who knew I was a street child? So there are more children in the street that have potential features. There are more children in the street that have potential from God. But God is depending on us as Christians to get out, not only spread the gospels, but we spread the gospel and we meet the needs of those who are in need. That is why I said a heart for a heart. Serve every man with love. Serve every man as you are serving your own. Know that God is watching over you. That society will judge you and myself today of how we live our life. We are responsible for this generation. How we prepare this generation will determine what the next generation will be. The past generation is not our responsibility, but this generation is our responsibility. And how well we live this generation will determine what becomes of the next generation. Let not your action be a hindrance to progress of the next generation. Let your action stimulate success and progression of those who need help. God bless you and see you in the next conference.
Thank you very much. Okay. Again, thank you very much, Dr. Hart, for that inspiring testimony. And I know that each and every one of us, one way or the other, been inspired from your testimony, especially a testimony of heart of service. So at this time. Okay, so thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you always contributing to voluntary work, especially in Christian mission. Thank you. Lot of time. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we already gone far beyond our time. So we still have a few things to do quickly so we can close. Thank you. Thank to all of you for joining. Thanks to all of our speakers. So we had two things we want to do quickly before we close here. We want to present our certificates, and we also want to ask you to scan this code to give us your feedback of the conference. So we're going to share that now. So those of you that are here, even those of you that are on Zoom, we just want you to scan this code. It will take you less than 1 minute to give us a feedback of the conference. And while we are doing that, we want you also to be getting ready to share your certificate for those that are present. So yeah, so just scan this code, then it will take you to a link, like less than 5 questions. We want to get a feedback for the conference so that we can know how to work on next conference and stuff like that. So you can just scan it. The online also just scan that as well. We do that. If in like 1 minute, that, and then we'll be presenting our certificates. So we have 3 categories of certificate for our participants, and then also our speakers certificate of appreciation for taking up time to speak. And then we also have special recognitions for our sponsors and partners. So we had 28 sign up for in-persons, we got less than that. So we actually printed all the names that sign up for in-person and get a certificate ready, but we only give to those who are present. So online also, I think we had up to 21 following the attendance online there. So 21 names that were there, we already get a shot of it. So those of you that are online, we also going to send your certificate, online on Zoom, because it's also being broadcast live on YouTube or Facebook. So we have huge number of people watching that though, but that's following. But like those who cannot join in on Zoom to participate, we will email you your certificate as well. So we want to thank you all for joining, and we're gonna go to that. So MC, please come and help me. You'll be calling the names for those that are present, and I will present your certificate quickly to you. You do the presentation. Yeah, so we'll start with the participant first. Let's see if we can pin this to see the shows. Yeah, so somebody want to help us to get a picture?
Suru. Suru.
I thought that so we get a picture.
We can get. Yes, we'll learn there.
Let's start. So look at your second word. I'm looking at aspect. I'm looking at aspect.
Sure. George Prakasim. Sorry if I get the name. Thank you for your participation. Feli Sibia. Sibia? Yes. Feladi. Felidi.
And that the last
Sibia. Okay, I think I get that. Diane Curry. No, Curry, another brand. Daya. No,
not
Daya. I said Daya Curry. Daya Curry.
Thank you for coming.
How you got it now? Obi said it. Colina JB Matthew.
Yeah, congratulations with Colina. She came all the way. I think that's monkey as in-person participant, right? That's Jenjo. Chonchi, all the way there. I think we should give her a hand of applause.
Yes, we need to give a hand of applause.
Hand of
Please give a hand of applause for Colina. Yeah.
Way from there, stay up here there.
Saki Feno Flomo. Ola Jedi Oluwampu Bola.
Olá.
Bola. Yeah. Come for you. Get on the certificate. That's it.
Okay.
I put for you for that certificate. Olubo Katia. Oh, they. You signed up. Elaine S. Norton. Madeleine Dawa. What is see? You had a
You keep it
no, Mozambique. Yeah. Sude Ibafatus man. Yeah. Epaphroditus.
Yeah,
Yeah, he from yeah, he yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sa una fondo, yung fondo. Yeah, here. Okay. Yeah.
Sudwe. Sudwe. Near. Itapino Antonio Fundo. Just stay right there.
Thank you. One of the best.
Yes. Johnson Socrates Kekula. Costing Kibala.
You pronounce your full name very well. Thank you, Mr. MC. So
our
one question? No, so our appreciation.
okay. So we have that was the first category, certificate of participation. So now we have certificate of appreciation. And again, we'd just like to read the word quickly because we forgot to read the first one. So certificate of appreciation, this certificate is awarded to, will be called the name, for your hard work, time, and support. You have really made a professional difference in ICMFEL. Your continuous contribution in strengthening our community is highly appreciated. We value that you have done and continue to do. Given this July 15, 2023. So this certificate is awarded to Chanel St. Hill.
Yeah.
That's right. That's great. Thank you.
Janelle, you wanna regular.
Dr. Sean Yao.
Yes, so like Pastor Sonia is online, they just call the name. So Pastor Sonia, you gotta
Pastor Sonia Tetley. Online. Okay. Okay, Mr. Timothy Mutu.
Yeah, congratulations to the team. We can email that. Thank you for speaking to us. Dr. Hart.
Dr. Jonathan Managogo Hart.
Yeah, there's the last speaker. Dr. Hart, congratulations. Thank you for speaking to us in the India district. Yeah, Mr. Lee Watling.
Yeah.
So I think Jenna here can stand for GRCF recognition. Yeah, Pastor Leonard.
Pastor Leonard.
Pastor Leonard. Yeah, Pastor Leonard.
Okay.
Then we'll move to recognition. Recognition, we have two. So we have two certificates for recognition. This is needed for our sponsors and partners. So one, I think Jenna is from GRCF, so you can stay up for GRCF. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. That is from GRCF too. So all of you just come for a GRCF. Yeah. So GRCF is one of our main sponsors for this event. GRCF makes sure we do this beautiful hall. Yeah. And yeah, tomorrow. So we want to say thank you to GRCF for making sure that we're here today. We had a great time, very cool, hall and everything. So we hope you do both sponsor what we're doing for the kingdom of God here. Thank you to GRCF. Yes.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, GRCF.
Thank you.
Thank you, GRCF. Also, Church 365. Pastor Sonia was there and Pastor Jordan was on there. Want to say thank you to Church 365 for your support. We see we have all of our stuff live streaming. We have a whole studio restream, 365, a yearly subscription for that and many other support. To ICMFEL, want to say thank you, Church 365, for your support to ICMFEL. Yeah. Thanks. So our other participants that are online, and we want to say congratulations to thank you from Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, India, US, and all around the world, wherever you're joining from. Anyway, those of you that are watching on Facebook, on YouTube, I want to say thank you for following your interest and all of that. We hope that next year we will be in Liberia for the third International Christian Medical Conference, hopefully, and we might be in Amapa, Para for our mission, maybe before the year end as well. We trust we're going to do that. So, just so you who want to visit West Africa, get your red tie and flower. Just so you want to go to Brazil, my God. So, thank you. And we've been in a team. We believe the conference, yeah, a lot of work behind the scene. And many of you, Ikoy and Eve, been working behind the scene doing a lot. Many of you in here did a lot just to make sure the conference is held. Australia, Illinois, from Ghana, been working a lot behind the scene, and Claudia, and many other of you who've been working tirelessly to make sure the conference was successful. I want to say thank you, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you. So we're looking forward to see you next month. We're definitely going to go back the entire June, July. We were not actively doing our broadcast because we were busy planning a conference. But we're going to go back to our medical reality talk shows. We're going to go back to our live preaching, our live worship, and the different things again. So we want to say, yeah, you can send us email. You can follow our Facebook page. You can visit our website. This should be www.ICMFEL.org. We hope some of the beautiful pictures from today will be up there on the website, so you can go there and see stuff there. So yeah, there's our WhatsApp group, so you can scan John, our Instagram. So we do a lot online and stuff. So we want to say thank you for joining us today. Sorry, we got a little bit above the time, but yes, we want to say thank you. So this is all I hear. We'll do the group picture, and then we'll be closing the conference for today. So maybe we should do a group picture right here on the stage with this background there for everything. So can you just come out for the group picture? And I just heard that Katia is a professional photographer. Is that true? Yeah. So let's come out, please. Maybe we'll get it out of you. Yeah, we can use this background in here for the picture. Listen for that. Here it is. Was there anyone, any participant we didn't call for your certificate? Was there any participant that we overlook? Did you get Dr. Town certificate?
He's
Dr.
asking
Tan.
for higher.
Dr. Tan.
Dr. Tan, yeah.
Dr. Town. I wrote. Yeah. Dr. Town, please come for your certificate. I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay. Dr. Tan. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, yeah. Okay. The camera.
Yeah.
Please.
So let's come out. You one person can have the picture. Come on out.
Yes, yes. Start with the first. Very good, thank you. The MVP in the front. Right?
Yeah, I was.
Sorry.
You get it.
Baby girl. Concentration. Baby girl.
Thank you.
Baby girl.
Baby girl, how are you?
What's her name?
Yeah, she wants to. You need to get that too. Actually, sure. Some honor.
All right.
Maybe a pediatric surgeon. Wow. What? Hello. Sure.
That's okay. Okay.
She's married to the person was a neurosurgeon, pediatric surgeon, kind of similar.
Yeah, let me show you.
So which
Judgmental, but let me show you. I'm going to. It's the hospital.
Where?
Okay. Yes. It's actually
Where?
very big one.
Chama?
So, I didn't realize
Não vai que baixo, não vai que baixo, é sempre um Liga só marca. Vivian, Vivian member of our
Well,
这是你的手机号码是吗？大概你的手机号码，我会大手机号码，但还有另外的微信号码。但是我在这个手机上，它可以当这个微信号码。Did you send your WeChat messages? Yeah,
because of COVID-19, my friend, I did go serious. I didn't have it. And then the other book I think was so I had to stay there.
So you say you pour Sarah starts with
yeah, I had a seat. And I
Send
so I'm waiting.
Grandpa say
So
usually don't she's never this. But the so here
what's that channel?
oh really? That's me when I would see
send the name of the manager. Send yes. Fine. Chat. After 6 months, out. I just was I'm just
but there was surgery, I need a surgeries. But yeah. So I haven't so far program resistance. So I'm just going to study. All of this. And we have So when I think of it, I'll get that's one of my yeah.
And you
I tried, but so yeah, once I you try. You see that? Yeah,
well,
so I really yeah, to laugh. And he told me like, no, ready for you to say that was see, I mean, see, man. I stayed here for I studied Chinese and Chinese, and I studied yeah, and then when you my when I was coming to China, I was there in China.
Okay. Yeah, after having in. Who? So you having in the EU.
And then I'm just on the doctor.
Yeah, you know, English name. I'll check it out.
What is this place from?
Come again?
Where is this GICS from?
The church, the GF, the Guangzhou International Christian Fellowship. Where is it? It's in Guangzhou here. So we meet at the Hilton Hotel. So Hilton. So we meet at the Hilton Hotel every not since the COVID is not every Sunday in person. So but every month we meet like every other Sunday in person, and then some other 2 Sundays then online.
Okay.
Yeah. So like tomorrow we are meeting in person at the Hilton Hotel. Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be good to have you.
I don't know where that is located. So is that in Tianhe?
No, in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which district?
Tianhe.
Tianhe.
Yeah.
Okay, I know Tianhe, but I don't know where.
Yeah. It's close to your school. From your school to the hotel I'm talking about, it should be like 15, 16 km, that's it, right? Less than 15 minutes.
Yes. That's it. That's for 25. But on
Yeah,
TD,
Be good to have you there tomorrow.
order on TD. Yeah, order DD.
I don't see TV. It doesn't work.
It will be great to have you there tomorrow. I will be preaching tomorrow. So I'll be preaching tomorrow. So I'm inviting you guys to church.
Well, we chat can bring the taxi and the taxi you pay more. So I don't use WeChat, I use Alipay.
Yeah, Alipay is very convenient. Once I use Alipay, I use DD. Yeah. So Tyan.
Order DD on chat.
Yeah, you can order DD on WeChat as well.
Yeah, but I was saying, I said for me, I don't use WeChat.